Over here, Siman Senior David, Seif Zayin. Chesama Shabbat Chesama says the locks of Kelim. So this Seif is speaking about, you have a Kli, not something that's Mechubar L'Karka, it's a Kli, and it's closed with different ways of closing up the Kli. So Chesama Shabbat Kelim, we get Shiddat Teva, Migdal, boxes. We're not talking about something that's big, because if it's a big one, then that's like Karka. So we're talking about small ones, they all have a then Kli. Sha'akisr shalahem, the cover is kosher behem, they tie down to the bechevel with a string. So yachal hatiroi, the ladder untie it, or v'chatchoi, or to cut it, v'sakin, or v'hater kliyasai, or to undo the woven part, the braided part. So it's three things you're allowed to do. So the hatiroi says the Magen Avram, the lav kesher shakayamu. So then undo a kesher where it's not a kesher shakayama. And we'll see Mitzvah Shem when we get to the sugya of a kesher. But if it's not a kesher shakayama, you're allowed to untie it. So untying that has nothing to do with stira b'kerem. The klal over here is in the first part of the Seif, getting rid of that tie, of that string, is not called stira b'kerem. The question is only the tie itself. So you let it undo the tie because it's not a kesher shakayama.
Exactly.
And you let it cut it. You let it cut the string. And we'll see maybe when we get to Sifri Dalet about cutting something, ripping something on Shabbos. There's any issa b'chlal. So how you let it cut it, cutting something maybe an issa in itself. But it's not also here, we'll see more in Sifri Dalet why. And the Hatter Kliyasa, to undo the braided part, also as a way of opening it up, is also mutter. So there's a... We'll see in the next Seif. What?
The Hatter Kliyasa is only B'yadayim.
Yeah, undo the
it's only B'yadayim.
And we'll see when we get to the next Seif. There's a longer Bi'alach here. There's a Rambam. That the Rambam says that Lahat Kliyasa, to undo the clear, the braiding, it's called Treiser, it's also. But it's an issue in the string itself. Undoing something that's braided, the Rambam holds is an issue of Treiser in itself. So we're not talking about the clear. We're talking about the string itself. If you have a string that's braided, you want to undo that braiding, the Rambam is going to hold, it's awesome.
Is it kshir b'kagama or not? The kli, when it's braided, do we consider a kshir b'kagama or not?
No, it doesn't look kshir.
No.
It's not kshir. It's a new issa. Now it's kshir.
So what's the practical application of this? Is it like...
if you have everything tied together.
Like, for example, like they used to have... you go to the bakery and they put string around the box. Is that sort of what you're talking about?
This is like shoelaces.
Yeah, shoelaces is not keeping the box closed. But the same idea.
Yeah.
This string here, the string of the box, is nothing to do with binyan v'stir v'kelim. It's a din in the string. Right. So that untie something, if you have a shoelace, so that untie it. So that untie it after string. You let it cut the string. Or see other guys, in the cases of the bakeries, right, they have a box, you should tie it together with a string. That's not right. Either you could undo the string, or you could cut the string. If I cut the string, we'll see why.
What about the nets that the fruits come in?
That's the next thing, we'll get to that. That's the next thing.
You have, cellophane that,
right, cellophane. Or the Mishleich Manis.
So
the
Mishleich
Manis
that were wrapped, with a bow.
Right, so you can undo that.
So if you undo the bow, even if you can, a lot of times you cannot do the bow, it's like a knot. You have to do it, so you have to cut it.
Wait, but it's not the Shabbos law. It's not the Shabbos law.
Yeah, sometimes it may be also to undo the bow.
Right, you better.
But you're not cutting it.
Nobody by
cutting it may be more of a heter. We'll see.
I do on Thursday, but you open on Shabbos. So you should put all.
Yeah, if you maybe, you know this is about.
Where do you use this?
It's a kishmach. They're doing it on Tzarech Lupa.
Okay.
We might get this later. Where do you draw the line, or what's the delineation between stira and mekalkel?
No, mekalkel is destroying something. Stira is undoing something. A stira could be a mekalkel. A stira could be a mekalkel. It says the shleim and asnivlas is a mekalkel.
It seems like there's stira gemura, right?
Yeah.
So stira gemura sounds like it's a mekalkel.
It depends. A stira shleim and asnivlas may be a mekalkel. Says the shleim and asnivlas is a mekalkel.
Right.
Every says the shleim and asnivlas. Says the asnivlas is the isser. That's the deraisa.
And mekalkel
There's no binyan. There's no.
Right.
Mekalkel is a part of a loss. Mekalkel is only isser derabban.
Correct.
Every mekalkel. There's different types of mekalkel.
But when we talk about stira gemura, there's no menas livnais.
No. But it's a mekalkel. So it's a derabban.
So it's like that. So
right.
A stira gemura.
Correct. If you have a stira gemura, it's usher. It's a mekalkel, and a mekalkel is also a derabban.
So it wouldn't be the araisa
So stira gemura
is
always a part of a loss.
If it's shleim and aslivnas, usually by Caleb it's shleim and aslivnas, so it's part of avalasa.
Yeah,
you're destroying it. Yeah, most steers that we're going to have here are part of avalasa because they're mekalkel. The shleim and aslivnas, the only steer which is the nissa deraisa is shleim and aslivnas. And then you have things that aren't steer b'chlal. We'll see in the mustaki maybe not no steer b'chlal. So therefore it's mutter, even though it's mekalkel, it's mutter. It's not even called a steer. Let's wait. We'll get to it more later on this evening. So now we're talking about the string. So the string, you can untie it, you can cut it, and you can undo it. The Rambam is going to hold you can't undo it, which is not really negated to us so much. We don't have that you undo the clear, you undo the braided string. Either you're cutting it or you're undoing the knot. Those things that come knotted, that they're not meant to open, it's kesh shachayam. You're probably better off just cutting it. Fine, so that's the string. Now, v'dafka and kshiras chevel. Says the Mechaber, only if it's a string. If you have a lock that's made out of wood, or metal, also lahafkir or the shaman. You're not allowed to take it apart or to break it. The bekalim nami shayach binyan gomer v'stira. It's shayach binyan gomer and a stira and kelim. So what the Mechaber here is saying is that if you have a lock on the kli, which is a metal lock or a wooden lock on a kli, so now when you're taking it apart, it's really part of the kli. That thing is considered. The reason why this wooden and metal lock is different is because now I'm not dealing just with the wood, the lock, and the metal lock. I know there are some people that want to learn, but the problem is breaking the lock is breaking a kli. The lock itself, when you're breaking the lock itself is a kli.
Yes, sir.
But I don't think that's a pshat. Because you see over here, the whole question is the kli that it's attached to. The kli that it's attached to.
You mean by breaking
one kli is
breaking the kli,
right? Correct.
One kli is higher than the other one.
Yeah, that's what it is. So we're looking at the lock is part of this big kli. And now when you're breaking the lock, it's as if you're breaking the kli.
So if you had like a padlock, it wouldn't be a problem.
Why?
Because the padlock separate from the...
Yeah. No, a padlock is considered part of the kli now.
Why? No, it's not. There has been staple this, but the lock itself is separate.
Right.
Don't know if that's right. Because now when it's attached, it's part of the kli.
Right, well, it's just...
But you can
remove it, put it back in.
I mean, you cannot take it out padlock without
another clip.
Under the kli.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not sure. I don't know if the kli here is talking about the lock here is talking about a lock that's built into the kli. You can't take it off.
Yeah, but I think what they translated as a clasp. Like it's not. So
clasp is part of the kli. Part of the kli. Okay, maybe a padlock will be different. Maybe a padlock is separate from the kli. It's not. A padlock may not be considered a kli in itself, and this will not break. The reason I'm saying this is because we'll see later on in Seif Yud, you have a different chasama shebekarka. Now, if we're talking about the lock as a kli in itself, so who cares if it's a lock to a kli, or a lock to a karka? The lock is still a kli. It's not karka. That's why, the reason why, I want to say over here, the reason the problem with the lock is that the lock is part of the kli. When you're breaking the lock, you're breaking the kli. So maybe you're right. Maybe a clasp is like a better example than a padlock. Maybe a padlock will be considered a separate thing. Okay. So here, you're not allowed to break it. Why? Because the shaykh binyan goma v'stira gemura by kalim, and when you're being safe to it, you're breaking the kli. Now, obviously, we're talking about a kli that's not a mustaki. Because a mustaki we had already, you're allowed to be safe to a mustaki. So why here are you allowed to break are you not allowed to break it? Because obviously it's a kli gomer. It's called a kli, and therefore it's also to break it. Now, mitam zeh, also a heisir atzirim, zekonim gunzish, shachare ateva, emneven hamafteach. You want to take off the tzirim is the hinges, you lost the key, so how do you open it up? You take off the hinge. So it says you can't take off the hinge, because that's called stira b'kelim, and it's a kli gomer, you're now allowed to take off the hinge of a kli.
Yeah, so that actually follows, but that follows like...
Yeah, that's like a class. Yeah, maybe padlock is different. Let's do a padlock aside. Let's say a padlock is different. So therefore, it's also to take off the tzirim, shekonim gunzish, shachare ateva, emneven hamafteach, if they lost the key, you're now allowed to take it off. Why? Because you are being soiser the kli. V'yesh matirim bezu, and some people are matir in the tzirim, they allow you to take it off. My question is why?
Because you're not breaking the kli, you can fix it after. I mean, it's not, isn't like...
Okay, so let's see. There's different psakim over here. I'm not sure what the reason is. So the Magen Avraham says, Yesh matirim, v'hastira geruhi, kivin ein tzarech lishbar shum davar, you don't have to break anything. Now what it means over here is that to take off the tzirim, you don't have to break anything, you're taking out the hinges, and later on you can reattach it. You're not breaking anything, so it's not called a stira. That's how the Magen Avraham learns it. Now, the way you said it before, that you're not breaking the kli, that's a different shot. The word is because you're not breaking the kli, so then by the first case of the locks, the clasps, you're also not breaking the kli. You're breaking the clasp, not the kli. So I think it's the machlokes here, Taz and the Magen Avraham, exactly how to learn this. If you look at the rest, the Mechaber says right after this, rest of the team is there. Some people are makel and breaking the tzirim. V'shvius Pesachai shel tevois, and breaking the Pesachai shel tevois, which is the clasps. Yesh matir v'yesh oisir v'yesh lahater eidei akom. So here the Mechaber is a little sensitive stuff. Let's just put the Mechaber what's going on over here. He starts off saying the clasps. He asks, now let's open it up. Yes, matirim in the tzirim to open it up. Then he said, with the clasps, yes, matirim, yes, oisrim. What does he mean? He's going back on what he said in the beginning. But what's going on in the Mechaber? How do you read the Mechaber? So the Taz is very bothered by the Mechaber, and the Taz says there's a twice atfus in the Mechaber. It's a mistake. It has to be, otherwise you can't read the Mechaber. If you look in the Taz, Seif Katan Ches.
What's that? Before you get, it's not a new Inyan? What am I saying? It's a continuation starting.
What is it? V'shvius Pesachai shel tevois. What is that?
It's specifically for tables.
You just said before, Pesachai shel eitz shel Pesachai also l'afkiya for the Shabbat.
First he says it's ushered by the hinges, right?
But not by the hinges. First it's also by the locks.
Also the Hasir Hatziri.
Before that. Pesachai shel eitz shel Pesachai also l'afkiya for the Shabbat. Then he says, Tam zeh also l'heisar tzirim. Also take off the tzirim. V'yesh matirim by the tzirim. And then he says, and the clasps is a machlokes.
So, but that's a different Indian.
Why?
Because one was a...
Yeah, we learned that one. First, they're all different.
What's the Pesachai shel tevois and what's the Pesachai shel eitz shel Pesachai? They're the same thing.
Pesachai shel eitz shel Pesachai also l'afkiya. So these are like the locks.
Yeah.
Right? But
What's the Shvius Pesachah Shal Tevis?
But then the hinge is in the back.
That's a Tzirim.
You can't get into the lock, so you go to the hinge.
That's in the middle case. What's the last case? The Shvius Pesachah Shal Tevis. What's that case?
So again, whether you use English or not, I mean, it's not the lock. It's the now you just want to go through the. Now something has a lock on it, and the other one is you want to open it up with the clasps. Oh, so let's think of a trunk, an old-fashioned trunk.
Right.
You have two clasps in the front,
right.
You have a lock in the middle, and you have hinges in the back.
So the last case is what?
Is the lock?
No.
The padlock? What's the first case?
The first one is the lock.
The lock is what? The padlock?
It's like it's not a padlock like that flops open. It's the one that's built in.
So what's the difference between the clasps and the lock?
One is a lock, and
what's the difference?
One is a clasp.
What's the difference? One has a key, one doesn't have a key.
Okay, but that's also not true.
No.
That's how it's made. Even in English.
That's what we try to understand.
But what's the difference? When the guy taking off the cleat.
I'm saying
what's the difference in halacha? Besides the one has a lock, one doesn't have a lock.
Right.
What else would be the difference?
There is no. I mean, one is the normal way. I mean, you need all of them, right? You have a lock. One is that you have a lock. And you have two clasps. And the third thing is the hinge. So if you don't have your lock open, if your lock is open, you open the hinge.
But the problem is you can't open the clasps either. Once you break them, obviously that's the case.
Right. So let's say you have a key, everything's fine, but the clasps are broken. Can you take those? Can you break those things?
So what's the chiluk of breaking those things off or the lock?
That's what he's referring to as the machlekes. The hinges, he says, is going to be the yesh matirin. The lock, that is, he says that's going to be us.
So I said, what's the chiluk between the lock and the clasp? Both of them, it's hard to take it off. You can't take them off. You have to break it. What should be the difference? You're right. One has a key, one has a combination, one doesn't. What's the chiluk in halacha between the two of them? So that's the top.
One is built in, and one is
they're both built in.
I don't think so. I think the clasp is kind of.
He seems to be making a difference between the clasp.
You picture the old.
I'm picturing
it. So that's what it is. You have the two on the side. You have the thing in the middle.
The thing in the middle
both of them.
is built in.
Yeah,
the clasp.
To make a
That's the kind of chest that we're talking about.
In the English, he seems to make a distinction between the clasp
the key itself
versus other metal clasps. I don't know why, but
okay. Here.
And opening up with a key, the lock is.
Not breaking anything. So let's see. The Achronim all learn that this case of Shvius Pesachos and the case of Pesachos are the same thing. They don't have, they're both locks or clasps, wherever they are.
Yeah.
They're the same thing. One may have a key, may not have a key, but they're both the same thing. You have to break it off in order to get in.
Right.
Either you don't have the key or the clasp is broken. You have to break that thing in order to get in. So the Achronim are not mechal.
Okay, they're not mechal, then we have to talk with mechal.
Yeah. So the Achronim hold that the same thing. They don't understand what's the chiluk between the Pesachah Shel Eitz and the Shvius Pesachah Shel Tevis. So let's see what the Taz says. Taz Shivkan Ches. V'yesh matirim hu dasa b'di mekinoin shekatzav Mordechai b'shem bei Peretz. This is going on the tzirim, the hinges, right? So who is that? Who's the matirim? It's the b'di mekinoin shekatzav Mordechai b'shem bei Peretz. V'zal shana b'di mekinoin omer. The mutir l'heitz in the tzirim. The b'di mekinoin is matter take of the tzirim shekar teva. Im never amafteach. Tastira geruhi. It's a stira gerua. Kivich ain't tzarich lishbar shum davar. You have to break the kli, it's breaking the clasp, it's what's mutter. Avaloi nir la'arav ben peretz, mosh kosev, tamer b'samach. V'im came mashma the last of the mekinai, shemata b'saras tzirim, ochanai mata b'sima tzirim, echad time, we'll get back to that soon. If we look a little further, v'loi havi noisi, mosh kosev shulchan aruch achrazeh. Tasa, they don't understand what the shulchan aruch wrote afterwards. The shviyas b'isachar shal tevais, yesh matirim. The kvar kosav, Zu b'Pesachah Shel Eitz. U'matachas, the yesh bo plukta. He says that b'Pesachah Shel Eitz is a machlokes. Find the plukta the Rimit Kinar Barav, Rabbi Baruch, which is Rabbi Peretz. Masaras Tziyim, the Chad Dinahu, which Shvius Pesachos. The Taz learns that when it says you're not allowed to break off the Pesachah Shel Eitz, and then it says therefore you're not allowed to break off the Tzirim, the yesh matirim, He's going back on both.
The whole thing.
On the Tzirim and the Pesach HaShaletz. Both of them are mutter. So you already said it's a machlokes by Pesach HaShaletz. So why is the Mechaber saying again now is the machlokes by the Pesach HaShaletz? From Titzah L'chalak Ben Asaris Tzirim, the Shviras Pesachas, you want to make a chiluk between Tzirim and Pesachas, Kosher, that Tchila Pasach Stam L'Isr Pesachas. If you say Tzirim is different than Pesachas, so he says Pesachas is Asr, then he brings Kosher Machlokes as material by the Tzirim, and then he brings a Machlokes in the Pesachas. Also a swear in the Mechaber. Why is the Mechaber doing that? So it says at the end, this is a tight Seif in the Mechaber, and he doesn't like that the Mechaber repeats himself. That's what the Tav says. The Mishnah Berurah takes care of this steer in the Mechaber. So let's see Mishnah Berurah inside, see how he takes care of it. Mishnah Berurah says over here, let's not see Katan Lamed Gimel. Also, the Hesed Atzirim. Why? Because Shviras Pesachas Damya. Taking off the Tzirim, the hinge, is just like breaking the Pesachas. V'yesh b'zeh mishum stira. It's also al stira v'chein ha-magzir delas ha-kli al tzira yesh b'zeh mishum binyan. To put a kli back on its hinges, also there's a binyan. V'zu. So the Mishnah Berurah is medayek the word v'zu. V'yesh matirim v'zu by the hinges. Why? Svira lei Pleidomil is Shviras Pesachas on breaking the lock. The Stira Geruhi, this is the Stira Gerua, Kivin She'ein Tzarech Lishbar Shum Davar. Says the Mishnah Berurah over here in this case, he says there's a chiluk between breaking the lock and taking off the hinges. Breaking the lock, you're breaking something. The lock's not working, you have to break the lock. That's called a shvira. Yeah. It's a kli gomer. It's like you're breaking a kli gomer.
The hinges can put
the
back.
Hinges, you can slide out a piece, and now the hinges is open. You can put it back in if you want. Yeah. You're not breaking anything. That's called a stira gemura. And says the Mishnah Berurah, the stira gemura. It is by the way. Put it back in. Taking it out is called a stira gemura. And therefore there's a machlokes to Rabbi the Peretz and the Rimi Kinoim if you're allowed to take out the hinge. So that's the second step. First step is breaking the lock, awesome. Taking out the hinge, where you're not really breaking anything, you're just sliding out the peg, let's say. That's a stira gerua. That's a machlokes that's mutter also. Then he says, the second part of the mechaber that says goes back to breaking of the lock, says yesh matir. Who's yesh matir? We just said that everyone agrees you cannot break the lock. Just sliding out the peg from the hinge is a machlokes. So what's the yesh matir? Says the Mishnah Berurah svir lehem the ein shayich shem stira klal b'kelim. If you remember, K'moshe bi'arti le'el b'sif aleph b'Mishnah Berurah the yesh v'shaynim shesevim came that hold that way. Who was that? If you go back at the beginning of the Siman and Sif Katan Zion, the Mishnah Berurah says they're not allowed to break kelim also l'shabra. V'tam stira v'after v'alma kaim alon the sefer in the chaval shal have live nice. The ilaf hakim v'kalkalum with the bonan mi'yoser. Over beer hagra hiskim na poiskim the svir lahem the ein stira b'kelim. There's no stira b'kelim at all. A full fish oise svira b'kli shleima. Even a kli shleima it's not shaykh stira. So this here the Mishnah Berurah brought down a shita that holds that even though we hold there's binyan b'kelim, stira b'kelim we never have. Ein stira b'kelim breaking a kli is not called stira.
So that would be where Rabbi Kinnah would actually.
No, the Rimi Kinnah is only speaking about pulling out the tziri holds yes stira b'kelim.
It still holds yes.
This is called a stira gemura, and that therefore it's mutter. This at the end the Mechaber brings down a shita which he never wrote down before. That yes stira b'kelim is a machlokes if b'chlal it's shaykh stira b'kelim, and that's what the Mishnah Berurah learns the yesh matter over here. The yesh rishonim.
But if he's going to bring that down, wouldn't he have also brought it down for the first case?
Yeah, he has to bring it down. It is the first case.
Why would he bring down?
So Mishnah Berurah speaks about it here. Look what it says here. ואף המחבר סוף המתחיל בסביב זה הגופה בשביל פסחת לאיסר. Even though the Mechaber himself said before that breaking locks is also Kuspira B'Kalim, Afilu Hachi Hevi Kad Dasa Yesh Matirim. Now we brought the Yesh Matirim. The Lismach Aleim L'Hakil Akapanam Ay De'ein Yehudi Achamash Messiah Achach L'Disney Seif. So now the Mishmur says the Mechaber brings down it's also to break Kalim. Spira B'Kalim is also. Therefore, if you have a lock on a Kli, you're not allowed to break that lock. Taking off at a hinge, Yesh Matirim. Some people are mutter, it's more calm. And then when I said before that it's also to break a lock, you should know there's a machlokes b'chlal of Stira B'Kalim or not. We hold Yesh Stira B'Kalim, but B'shas Hatchak, it could be matter ayidei akom. That's why he brings it down.
So the first and the third case are the same.
The first and the third case are the same.
So if you wanted to say this Kiddush,
should have said it right away.
Yeah. So you know what? Put this all together. Put 1 and 3 together, and then say that there's the Yesh Matirim and
very good. Yeah. No, that's what the Taz's kasha is. And then therefore the Taz says it's a Torah Tatzvus. Yeah. But the Mishnah holds that the Mechaber wanted to say because that's the halacha. You can't be making. Now he wants to say, give you a kula de akum, which is not a real kula. De akum is meko. That's how we hold it that at all. De akum will be seif on that shita p'shas chak. That's why he separated it. That's why he separated. Once you know that's not halacha really. You're paskin yesh stira b'kelim. The reason why I put in the middle of the case of Tziruf and then went back to the case of Stira B'Kalim is only to tell us that the Akum is a Kula.
But that's Amir Lakum in the fault, no?
Yeah, but it's mutter the Akum, even though it's Amir Lakum. Yeah. That's how the Mishnah learns it. No, so Argus and Taz.
Yeah, but the Yesh Matir says, how do you explain the Yesh Matir before? He said Yesh Matir Yesh yourself, Yesh Matir the Akum. So he's saying I know that there's to take Ein Stira B'Kalim.
Right, that's the Yesh Matir hold Ein Stira B'Kalim B'Chal.
Right, Ein Stira B'Kalim, but I hold that even actually to those people who hold Ein Stira B'Kalim, you still going to do by Akum?
No, I hold if you're Seif on those sheets, I de Akum. That's the Mishnah learns. So he answers the Stira of the kasha of the Taz.
So what's the prevailing opinion? Is there Stira B'Kalim?
There is Stira B'Kalim. There's Stira B'Kalim.
Yes.
By Tzirim, it's more kal, because by Tzirim it's a Stira Gerua, so you're pulling out the hinge, maybe more cool, more kal. But then he says, a real Stira B'Kalim, there's a machlokes, and you can be seimich idea chak that a guy could do it for you. So let's see the Mogen Avram Sifkat Yud. Okay, Yesh Matirim, we start seeing it already. The Stira Gruhi, Kimich Eitzach Lishbar Shum Davar. This is where the Mishnah Brewer gets his chilik from. The Tzarech Ian, the Mesinim Shinur Gimel Sif Tes Kasav Hatakeya Eitz Chai Mishum Boinder. V'im Kenk is a Seisoi have a Seisim. If someone sticks a piece of wood, they had in Shinur Gimel, they stick a piece of wood into something very strong, he chayav al tzboider. So we take it apart, he should be chayav al stira. The Yeshleim the Hasam Meiri goes to Oisa Kli, the going to Machnes Eitz B'Tocha Kadon. Avahacha, the lead Sirim, Nami have a Kli, a silver Kli. So the saying over here is a chilik. If you have a hammer, let's say, you stick the handle into the hammer, you make a kli through that, then taking it off is a regular Stira B'Kalim, and it's awesome. 100% awesome. Here, pulling out the hinge, pulling out the peg from the hinge, he says, you're not breaking the kli, it's still a full kli. It's a box. Now you can open and close it. Therefore, what are you doing? You're taking apart the hinge. The hinge is not called a kli. And therefore, it's mutter.
But the remaining is unusable, and therefore.
No, it is usable because now you open the kli.
Without the hinge.
You open the kli. Yeah.
I mean, it's just that it isn't.
The hinge is unusable, but the hinge itself is not called a kli.
But what happens if you actually take out the hinge and by opening the box, you're also breaking the lock?
Then there'll be a problem. If you're breaking the lock, there'll be a problem. Yeah. You can't break the lock. The nearer this is among Abraham the Kula Alma, also the Kvoya had Shira b'Mismarim the Masakamana, Avazam Kalkalom. Everyone agrees you're not allowed a screw in the hinge on top. That you can't do. Because that's a regular binder with Kalim, screwing on the hinge. The Akum is Matzah, says the Magen Avraham. We have to Shlemer Perigdal, the Veya, Sivtas Kosad Afkum, Hefsim Meruba, Veshenechbad Harbe, the Tzorech Mitzvah, needed for Tzorech Mitzvah, Al Besakin, of a Machat, Shari, the Ftech, the Yitzhak, the Mishnah, Al Shainer, you could do it with a knife, you could pry it open, that's for sure, okay. But it's not breaking a hinge, it's stuck. Something that's stuck very tight, you can't deattach it.
Is that the tilt?
So then you could. No,
it's the knife.
But the knife is not breaking anything. You're just prying it open with the knife, but that's mutter.
You're doing it with a tilt on outside.
Yeah, but it's a muktzah. It's a question of Seif. So you're allowed to pry it open with a knife. That's mutter. Okay.
Of course, screwdriver is okay.
Screwdriver is okay. Screw some machal, you do a tzarech kufa. It's also mutter. Yeah, that happens a lot of times. You have to get something open. You want to use a screwdriver to open it up. It's mutter. So I do that. As long as you're not breaking anything, it's mutter.
Can you use it to oil, like oil the lock in order to open it on Shabbos or not?
Why not?
I mean, if you can't do it, then the key's stuck in the lock or something.
What should be oil? What should be this?
Can you do that? Something there.
That's not them, but it has to be oil. Not put oil on a metal thing. I don't have to be this on that. It's mutter. The Seif Ches, famous Seif here. Chayes Lo Yishal Tomorrow. Chayes Lo Tomorrow are the things that the dates, they would wrap up dates in them to make them ripe. The groigeroids are from figs. If the cover is tied with a string, mate v'seiser shasharois hachevel. Here it's something at the beginning of Siv Zayin. It's tied together with a string. You're allowed to cut the string. You're allowed to undo the string. You can cut it with a knife. Even the chayslois itself is allowed to break open.
Why is it mutter with a knife?
Why can't you cut it with a knife? It's mutter. You're allowed to cut it. So you're allowed to use a knife to cut it. So Mr. Bruce says over here, Lavates. Imakisui. Be'emes kol haidina hainu hafta Siv Zayin. The beginning of Siv Ches is exactly the same as Siv Zayin. You're allowed to undo the string that's tying it together. You're allowed to cut it. You're allowed to rip it. You're allowed to do whatever you want. So what's the chiddush? V'nafta mishum Seif v'lashrinan devizeh afil gufan shachoslois mutter lishbar k'mash mefarish hatam. Here, you're allowed to break even the gufan. In Siv Zayin, we said the kli itself you're not allowed to break. You're allowed to break the thing that's closing the kli. So you're not allowed to break some eight. If it's a rope, you're allowed to cut the rope, untie the rope. It's mutter. So the beginning of Siv Ches is not a chiddush, right? If I kiss it kosher b'chevel, mater v'seisir shasharois hachevel, v'choytek afil b'sakin, it's not a chiddush. Same thing as Siv Zayin. What's the chiddush? The second part. Afil gufan shel chayslois. Even the chayslois itself, you're allowed to break open. Shekol zekim or sheshevet agoyzim or shkedim delita lo'eichel shebehem. What's the heter? It's a kli. So what's the heter to break it open? Says the heter is like breaking open a nut to get out the walnut to get out the food from inside. So what's that heter? So if you look at the
food inside, therefore to open up the eat, is there a heter?
Isn't that
the food?
Yeah, inside. That's the heter. Yeah. So if you look at look at the Magen Avraham first. You base of Gimel. Choslois, Kalim shel kapos kamarim. It's the kalim of dates. Assume to mean salam. It's made like baskets. Sheshevet agoyze mashma dafka hani to lav kelim gemurim. They're not really kelim. The einan assume elishe is bashku atmorim b'seicham. They're made that the tmorim should ripen inside them. Of a kli gomer pshita da aser. To break open a kli gomer, of course it's aser. Now the big tumult over here is what's the heter? What does it mean? What does it mean it's not a kli gomer? It's a mustaki? No. I'm not talking about a mustaki here.
It's less than a mustaki.
Yeah, but the heter is not that it's a mustaki. Mustaki means because it's a shvacha kli. It's not meant to be a kli.
But this
what's the heter over here? So here, the loss of the Magen Avram is, what's the heter? Because you're making it only chase bashla tomorrow b'seicham. Only because you're doing it to ripen the tomorrow inside of it. Now, a mustaki, we said before, is mutter in itself. This is not a heter of a mustaki. You're doing it to ripen the pre. Even if it's not a mustaki. Even if, let's say, it doesn't have the categories of a mustaki. We spoke already at the beginning of the Siman that our bags, there may be a heter of a mustaki.
Like a milk bag.
Yeah, but the question is, if you're leaving it for a long time to store the food, and after you open it up, we said then, it's a question if that's called a mustaki.
But here,
it's not meant to be thrown out. It's meant to use.
But there's a second problem with the mustaki, that by a mustaki you still also have the problem of Pesach Mana.
Correct. Pesach Yafa.
So
right. Pesach Yafa.
This is maybe less than a mustaki.
Correct. We'll see. We'll get there in a second.
And when Shlois is special, isn't it to Moktzah? You cannot.
No, because it's going to be ready at Shabbos. You know, it's going to be ready at Shabbos, so it's not Moktzah. The Pri Megadim here says, in Seif Kohen Yod Gimel, the Eichel of Rock, Seif Kohen Yod Gimel, first line says, I am Magen Avram, I am Pirish Rashi Shabbos Kufim Vavam Aleph, Chaysa Tmorim, Roim, Lehizbashel, Hatam, Vayedei Kach Mispashlim, Eloi Asuyim, the base Kibble. They're not meant to hold something in it. It's not meant to hold it.
It's like a one-use stick just for them.
No, not even one use. It says it's not meant to hold the pre inside. It's meant just to ripen it, like wrapping an avocado in a newspaper. It's not meant to hold the avocado. It's meant to just ripen the avocado. If not for that, it's also the Pri Megadim, the Achronim of Dai from the Pri Megadim. The whole heter of Chayslois is only because you're doing it just to ripen the pre. It's not meant to be a base kibble. It's not meant to hold the pre. If it's meant to be a base kibble, it doesn't have the heter of Chayslois. It has to come out the heter of Mustaki maybe. But Chayslois, it won't have that heter.
So how do you understand the ratio of the Seif that? If you say that it isn't meant to hold them, then you would presumably break it every time. So why is the whole thing about opening up the cheder and opening it up? I mean,
no,
if
it's not meant
to hold it.
It's not meant as a base kibble. It's not meant to store it there. It's meant to ripen it. Right. Something that's meant to ripen has a new heter that it's bottled to the pre. It's part of the pre.
Okay. So why the whole deal about the
that's what I did. No, the heter kibble. You don't have to. You don't have to. It said to do it also. It said there's no chiddush in the first part. The chiddush is on the second part. Right. So from the Pri Megadim and the Medayik, that it's only because it's meant to ripen it. So here's where the big tumult comes. And Moshe in his Shuvah argues on the Pri Megadim, and he says that Chayslois is not only a heter because it's meant to ripen it. His raya is because there's Chayslois of Tmorim b'Groigeros. Groigeros is figs. Figs you didn't keep in the Chayslois to ripen them. Tmorim you kept inside to ripen. Figs you didn't have to ripen them. So therefore, says Moshe, that the heter of Chayslois it's a heter because it's made just for the pre. It's not meant for anything else. The Chayslois are something that's made just for the pre, whether it's to ripen it or to store it. Doesn't make a difference. Anything that's made just for this pre is bottled to the pre, and it's like a shemit to the pre. So it's nothing. It's not even a kli. It's not even a kli. If that's the heter, So then, all our stuff that we have today is all made to
for the purpose
store it. To store it. So it's bottled to the kli, so it's not considered a kli b'chal. If it's not even a kli, then you'll have a heter, Pesach Yofa, there's no problem, you can open it up nicely, everything will be mutter.
So
everything will be mutter.
On a mustaki you can't, but on this you would?
Right, on a mustaki, it's a kli, it's a kli geruah. We had before, but a kli geruah, you're not allowed to make a Pesach Yofa.
Correct.
On a choshlos, maybe it's mutter to make a Pesach Yofa, because it's not even called a kli.
Right, so what's the lumdus or the logic behind that? In other words, at the end, they're very similar, yet we're making a very important distinction.
No, because to you it looks similar because we're looking at the same things. We're looking at bags, cans, looking at the same thing. A mustaki was something that wasn't meant for a certain usage. It was a shvacha kli. The shvacha kli, a Pesach Yofa, it's a kli, it's a shvacha kli, a Pesach Yofa is a problem. Choislois is not a heter because it's a shvacha kli. It's not a kli at all.
Hold on, the Magen Avraham said it was because of the kli.
No, it says even the heter of choislois is only when it's a geruah. But then it becomes even not a kli. It's a level less than a kli.
Okay,
if it's a strong thing,
less than a kli.
Yeah, it's a level less than a kli.
The question the Magen Avraham is right.
Our kli gomer treated the usher.
No, you're saying it's even less than a mustaki.
Right.
Then it has to be less than
it's less than a mustaki.
It's less than a mustaki.
Now, if you have a strong kli, right, that's the whole shadow with the tuna fish cans. Right, tuna fish cans, the Chazon said they're used for something else. What do you mean? The mice they make tuna fish cans to hold the tuna in it. It's meant to store the tuna in it.
That's it.
You can use it for something else. So what? The Chazon means is that it's not a mustaki anymore. Now it becomes a kli gomer. A kli gomer, there's no heter of choislois. By kli gomer, you lose the heter of choislois. When it's not a kli gomer, so now you have a heter of choislois, and you're allowed to do anything you want to it. Even a Pesach Yofa you could do to it. That's what will come out. If you hold that choislois is not just a heter of ripening it, it's a heter of, it's meant just for this use, for the food, then you have heter by all our packaging.
So basically a milk bag, if you hold by that thing, you could open up just a
Pesach Yofa.
and you're fine, and you're okay.
Yeah. Maybe.
That's basically what
isn't that the angle of Rabbi Shlomo Zalman?
Right.
He's coming
with the soda cans, yes.
Yeah.
He's coming from the angle that at the end of the day, because it's disposable, and by definition it was never meant to be
used afterwards.
Right, it's not a kli.
Right, and therefore again, he's not worried about
it's not a kli, right? That's his malach.
Right.
That's his malach. That's the Moshe's malach. The Moshe doesn't like that. The Moshe says he shouldn't be saying on the head of choislois. At the end of Moshe says, don't be saying on the head of choislois. You have to go back to Heter Mustaki. If you go back to Heter Mustaki, you have power Pesach Yofa. The power Pesach Yofa. So that's why it's not so simple that you go have your mouth to the Pesach Yofa in all our packaging. Most of the places don't go with this heter. Most of the places don't hold the Pesach Yofa even in our packaging. So the Pesach Yofa is a problem. And they won't have this heter of choislois. They say what's choislois? Choislois is more like the chocolates come in that wrapping. That's called choislois. That's what they say is choislois. Here you can open it however you want because it's mamash wrapping around the food itself. For some reason they hold that choislois.
But I thought we
the chocolate bar?
Yeah.
Right. So you still have to be careful with the letters. That's a different issue.
No, that is for sure. Yeah, different issue.
So you can just open it any way.
Yeah. Anyways, you can't make a Pesach Yofa on those foils.
But isn't there some distinction in terms of whether you're going to reuse, like fold it back up and use it as a kli, if it becomes a kli?
But if you hold it choislois, that's what they say. That's what my friends say. Choislois also, they will open it up, take it from tomorrow, and then close it back up.
So
they wouldn't destroy it.
Even if you
open it up, correct. Right. Even if it's going to stay there for a long time, doesn't make a difference. By mustaki, we said that some of our friends want to say that if it's a bag they open up and you keep it there until you finish, then it may lose the heter of a mustaki. Right? That's if you go into all our bags or heter of mustaki. If you hold our bags of heter of choislois, then you have mamash have a heter for everything. You can make a Pesach Yafa, you can leave it open, you can store it there for as long as you want. If you say that everything today are all called Chayslois, then you have a time for everything. Moshe says that maybe had a Chayslois, he doesn't like it. He says be careful. Rav Shlomo Zalman, so I saw it last week, I looked into it. Rav Shlomo Zalman seems to go that everything's all called Chayslois.
Well, isn't it also because all the stuff that we buy today in stores, I mean, we basically check out after we use it. I mean, we don't.
Yeah. It's meant just to store the food. It's not meant for anything else. It's not even a kli.
Right. Let me use that. I thought Rosh Hashanah does not hold of the Chayslois. He holds that mustiki.
Right. From the way they're being down, I thought Rosh Hashanah holds that our kela only meant for the food, not for anything else. And therefore, it's not a kli b'chlal. It's not a kli b'chlal. Once it's a kli, it's a mustiki. They have power Pesach Yafa. So how can Rosh Hashanah be matter to make a Pesach Yafa? His heter of Pesach Yafa is because it's not even a kli. It's not even a kli. I think he makes chayil. Even though I looked at Rosh Hashanah inside.
You have the tshuva in the back of the notes.
Yeah, I saw the tshuva. Yeah. Rosh Hashanah matter. It says.
But only he's talking about this soda can specifically.
And he's matter.
Right.
Because it's a mustiki though.
That's what's the mustiki.
Yeah.
What?
Rosh Hashanah?
Permit cans.
No,
What are you showing?
It seems to suggest that like what you're saying is that Shlomo Zalman because it's a mustiki that
correct.
you're correct.
This is brought down here in the
It says over here.
They're very similar ideas. He brings this down in Shmer Shabbos, right?
Yeah.
It's not a stress.
Yeah, so he says Shlomo Zalman holds us a mustiki, and this we let open them up. And then he says, opening up the whole top is not called the Pesach Yafa. But once I can help you with the cans.
Oh, it helps you because he defines it as a mustiki.
Yeah, but a mustiki can't make a Pesach Yafa.
Right.
He can't make a Pesach Yafa.
Right.
He's not going on the mustiki.
That's the part. Well,
there's two things here. There's opening up the tin cans, which is the tuna stuff, where you're opening up the whole top without making a Pesach Yafa. So it's a mustiki, you can open it up without making a Pesach Yafa. The problem I spoke last week with the soda cans is that the head is a mustiki, you don't make a Pesach Yafa. And that's making a Pesach Yafa. So the only head would be making it a Chayslois. But here it seems that if Shlomo Zalman will say it's a Chayslois. I don't know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's not so clear exactly what the Shlomo Zalman's head was. Because it seems like, I was looking at the truth, it seems like it's more like a heter of chayslois. It's meant only for the food, and after you finish, therefore it's mutter.
See, because fundamentally I think that the heter of chayslois was introduced by Rav Moshe. And I don't think Shlomo Zalman ever used the word chayslois.
So if he wasn't matter chayslois, he had the mustiki.
Correct. So he explains it that it's not nefshav kekli. He doesn't use the saying mustiki itself, or chayslois. Yeah. But he said the concept is the same, but he never ever says the word chayslois. It's
not nefshav kekli, and therefore you can make a Pesach Yafa even.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's not a mustiki then.
Right. Correct. That's exactly it.
So what?
It wasn't is.
So what is that?
Okay, but he's not saying chayslos. Chayslos has this din that it's a shimur on the
kli, right? We don't find anywhere.
That was the chiddush of Rav Moshe. Rav Moshe came up with this idea.
Right, but we don't find anywhere in halacha that there's something not called a kli at all.
Okay.
Besides chayslos.
So this is what's brought down in Shmer Shabbos. He knows it's nefshav kekli, l'chein. Therefore, you can still make.
I understood that nefshav kekli meant.
Like chayslos. Right.
That's where I understood it.
So we come to the same thing, but the difference is that it's a big difference. Rav Moshe comes out the chumrah.
Right, Moshe the Shimon said chayslos.
And Rav Shlomo Zalman comes out the heter.
Correct.
Big difference between the two.
Yeah.
So if you reach Shmer Shabbos straight out, you rely on Rav Shlomo Zalman.
He says you can open up the cans, right?
And according to Rav Moshe, he talks about the chayslos. Maybe we can say mutter, but yesh lahachmer.
Yeah. So I don't have to tell you. It's very not clear. It's very not clear because what I could tell you is that we have clear that there's a heter of mustiki and his heter of choislois.
Right.
Two separate pairs.
I think that's the best way to leave it as.
Yeah.
These are.
Mustaki doesn't have a heter of a Pesach Yafa.
Correct.
You cannot make a Pesach Yafa Mustaki.
You don't need.
Choislois, you can make a Pesach Yafa.
You can make.
Yeah. So to say that all our cans and stuff are called choislois, everything is mutter, not a kli, that's a Shem Zamen. Of course, not a kli. Most of the places argue Shem Zamen. They won't give you a head to make a Pesach Yafa on our kelim. They won't. Most of the Achronim say that our kelim, a Pesach Yafa is also.
On the mustaki.
So then you're back to the...
They consider, they say the most it could be is a mustaki.
Right.
They don't call the choice
You have to
place.
worry about Pesach Yafa.
Right, you'll be able to open a can.
Or the milk bag.
Or the milk bag. All this stuff will be able to open up. Because when the Pesach Yafa, we said that you're allowed to open something to take out the contents, that's not called a Pesach. To open something up, to take off the whole top of the tuna fish thing.
The hot is right, so
that's mutter. That's mutter,
Right,
right.
but that's a separate category.
That's what we saw last week. The hot is right, to open up the whole thing to get out the contents. It's mutter.
These sachets of sugar or sweetener stuff, that would be Christmas.
Not here.
What, sorry?
I think more like Christmas. Yeah, those little packets of sugar. No, it's different than a...
You're giving up food
You
inside.
make a Pesach, you have to bring up the whole top.
That's more
You
hot
can't
version.
really have written on it. You can't.
Well, you can't because it's letters. So then no. So then you have. Yeah, but you're not looking to make a Pesach Yafa. You want to empty the contents, but you can't because there's a letter there.
Yeah.
But anything we saw last week in Siman, chopping off the top is not for the Pesach Yafa. Pesach Yafa is to make a hole to take it out through that hole. That would be the heter of choisnes.
But the Achronim that are against it, that are saying that is it also, like they're saying here, the Chazon Ish, for example, is against opening 10 cans because you might use it as a
No, the Chazon Ish says even more. That's not even a mustaki. It's not even a mustaki. So he holds, you can't even take off the whole top. Because there's steel mechanic. We said last week, you're allowed to open up the whole top. If it's a mustaki, you're allowed to do steel on a mustaki.
Okay, I thought it was his problem was that you would use it as a kli afterwards.
Right, so this whole view is as a kli afterwards, it's not a mustaki anymore.
Right.
Once it's not a mustaki, then you're stuck. You can't even chop off the whole top.
Okay, but the reality now is that we don't.
Right, so this is what they say today, even according to the Chazon Ish.
Even like coffee cans, we don't use that.
Right, so you're allowed to chop off the top. Even according to the Chazon Ish today, you'd be allowed to chop off the top because we don't use the bechal. But Pesach Yafa is still beyond. Pesach Yafa is a different problem. Chopping off the whole top of a tuna fish can is what Sean Sivov. That's basically the column of mustaki, choislois, mustaki, you're allowed to chop off the top, you're allowed to make a Pesach Yafa, choislois, you can do whatever you want. Let's just finish up with the Bi'alacha about Lavkia. So we said that the Mechaber says you're allowed to untie it, you're allowed to cut it, and you're allowed to undo the braids.
Or break it.
Or break it. Says to be a locha chesed so tomorrow the says shashos achavel came lashon atur who appears on mash amar sham gemara mafkia came to shashos sham five of them kivege shishal zevet safim moha devia mogabram sef simen shin yudzayim shem ramba ta poiso chaval someone who braids strings chay misham kosher ba seiser chay misham matir but after we say shleim and live nice doesn't make a difference I call upon him ultimate rabbanon right stira shleim and live nice this is rabbanon. The who says the Kesh Shakayama, Vini Apesh Rasha, Tuna and Kushya, Kema Yizburu Bezakarama, Rambam Kasha, Tadome, Tiru Kam Hafkia, why let it undo the strings? It's a regular Hafkia. Fini is that it, the Rambam Yechash, Has Omer Bagmar Hafkia, Haina the Minatek, with Kavreya, you rip it. The Rambam holds, you're allowed to rip it open, either cut it open, rip it open, or untie it. Okay, Mutter. The other masha tiru lachta kafilu b'kli. So here, it's a very important bracket. We'll go into more next week. Vein shaykh lefsha machmas kareya hufa. How about ripping? Ripping is also. To who also with the avana afilu b'shleim and aslit for. Yeah, they'll rip something on Shabbos. It's time to rip. It's also. The ain't shaykh shem zeh ella b'kriyas habeged. The shaykh by kriya amanas litzvah. Lochik goes to the bar after the b'shlei amanas litzvah which ain't zeh. So here it's a very important bracket. That's why I want to see this kriya halacha. We spoke the whole time. You're allowed to rip open a bag. You're allowed to rip whatever you want. Kriya we know is awesome. Kriya even shlei amanas litzvah is awesome. So why here, all of a sudden, you rip whatever you want on Shabbos? You rip open the chayslos, you rip open the kesher. Why are you rip it open? Why isn't there Issa Kareya on it? So the Rambam says that the Issa Kareya Shleim and Aslitzvah Midrabanan is only by something that's possible to do al Manas Mitzvah. You have a beged, you rip it. Sometimes you rip the beged in order to fix it. Right. Things that you cannot put back together again. Piece of paper, rip a piece of paper. Is that Shabbos rip a piece of paper? You can't put it back together again. So there, maybe there won't be an Issa Kareya B'chlal. Shloim Manas Litzvah is only if it's possible to do it for you. But to rip everything else, rip open a bag.
I'll put your back. I mean, is that Mekalko?
I mean, Mekalko. It's not even a Kareya. Mekalko is only when I'm doing a Kareya, Shloim Manas Litzvah. I'm ripping Seif. I'm breaking something, Shloim Manas Litzvah. It's a Mekalko, it's also Midrabanan. Why? Because you're doing the Seif. You're doing the Seif.
This is less than... So
Kareya on something that can't be taken afterwards is not even called Kareya. It's not even called ripping. It's nothing. And therefore it's mutter.
So I could rip a piece of paper...
According to
if you have a shirt,
we'll see more next week.
If you have a shirt, a pocket, and it's half for a car, so you can...
You're not allowed to rip it. You're not allowed to rip it.
It's a beged.
It's a beged.
It's a beged.
Anything that's shaykh hamanas litzvah, they after shloim hamanas litzvah.
So you have a loose string in your
beged.
just a string hanging out, you can't.
That is shaykh hamanas litzvah. You rip it off. But that's a big problem. We're taking more. It's a bigger problem.
I listen to everything you say.
That's a bigger problem. May not be correct, but you're taking more than fixing your jacket.
It's mostly what I say.
Next thing I'd like to, finish the Siman if possible.